Boom. What's up, y'all? Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your man, your host with the most, Mr. A. D. Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys rocking with us. We're going to have a great conversation today, one that may get a little hot. But yes, it's a necessary conversation because I feel like there's so many schools of thoughts when it comes to this topic, and so many ways of looking at it, so many ways of thinking about it. So I definitely want to dig into this. Bam. Make sure you share, make sure you tag somebody, and let everybody know that the brothers are in the building. Blessings, Lisa. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for always being a part. Thank you for always contributing. I appreciate you. Mama McCory in the building. I see you. Thank you for being here as well. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. So make sure you do that. Today we are going to dig into a topic. Um, Dr. Rollins, Latrice Rollins, sent me a video that was very interesting, that I won't share because it's a YouTube video, and things get wonky when you share things. Somehow they get flagged or taken down or whatever happens. So I'm going to just discuss it. We're gonna have a discussion about the video. Um, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe I'll find a way to play it because and I gotta figure the proper way to play things. But yeah, so today in a week long discussion talking about what's the goal, together or separate but equal. That separate but equal is a throwback to what they tried to do back in the day when it comes to segregation, um, and trying to keep blacks away from whites and make sure proper funding is going equally to both neighborhoods. And we know how that worked out. We know we got very little into our neighborhoods. We got very little put into the infrastructure, schools, old books and things of that nature. So it was almost like a goal for those in the black community to find their way into the white educational system, the white community, in order to get uh, the better of of what was being given out by the government, basically, um, and to have better protection and all of that good stuff that seem to have come along because of separate but equal. Um, but in this discussion, so I want to, we talk about the goals, and as African American, Black Americans, however you identify, um, what is it that we are trying to seek within the country? Of course, we want to be treated right, and want to be treated human. I want to, I want the same liberties as everybody else, Um, but is it a goal to do this together, or is it goal to be separate? Um, so we're gonna dig into this, and have this conversation. I'm gonna kick it off, throw this intro on, and we're gonna have this conversation. Looks like my pastor's in the building. It's a little chilly this morning here in Georgia, but I love it. I love it. This is the best time of the year for me. I like it when it gets a little cold. The heat gets a little bit too much. All right, let's see. Hey, good morning, Keita. Good morning, Deborah. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Copy, paste, put it on your page, tag somebody, and say, listen, be a part of this conversation. It's going down today on the brothers. All right, so let's kick this thing off. Let's get it started because we have much to talk about and discuss. So keep that in mind. What is it that you want to happen, um, in this country, for your family, for your neighborhood, and all that, and your children? What do you want what kind of country do you want your kids to be living in? All right, let's get it. Let's go. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. And we're back. Make sure you order your BOL apparel at www.brothersoflegacy.com. Brothersoflegacy.com. Um, Pastors in the building. Good morning.
Good morning. I was reading something.
I'm looking like, is he frozen?
Is he frozen?
Oh, is he doing a really good impression?
These morning messages, man. You
Right.
every Monday morning is like standing on the corner in a crapshoot.
Right.
Hit him.
Right.
Let's hit this morning.
Oh man, Jason Fletcher in the building. I'm so glad you're here, my brother. I'm so glad.
Good morning, Fletcher.
Yes,
welcome
indeed.
back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Doing big things.
Yes, indeed. Yes. All right. Let's get it. So, all right. So today we're talking about what's the goal, together or separate but equal. And like I said, that separate but equal term has been something of a of what was of the past. Of course, speaking of segregation moments and movements where equal monies was supposed to be doled out to communities, and we all know that how that went. And so I think there was just a push for integration. Like if we're all in the same space, they got to give us all the same money, because that's what I'll be thinking. Like if we all living together, we can't, you can't separate the money as hard. So this conversation started because Dr. Latrice Rollins sent me a video with Bill Maher responding to Whoopi Goldberg saying, talking about the difference, having the different national anthems. With the Black national anthem, then there's the regular or the traditional American national anthem. And of course, if you don't know, some of the issue is with the original American national anthem. Some of the words, some of the lyrics that have been removed. They've not. I think it's another part of it that's not discussed. That's not the most favorable for Americans. The way to make that makes America looks like the America of slaves. So Bill Maher, and I agree with him on this point. If we are going to be together, there should just be one national anthem, maybe a new one, because that's what his thing was, a new national anthem, but one national anthem. If we are to live in a country together, should there be a separate national anthem? And then it got me to thinking, because we've talked about this way back. And I know this conversation is coming up and it's on people's minds. What is the goal? Are we seeking to work together, or are we looking for a separate but equal country? We talk about, supporting Black businesses so that because it's felt that they may be most marginalized and not. And, as Black people, we need to at least support ourselves first. And hopefully the rest of the world will support our Black businesses as well. Or I guess the idea is supporting our communities first, and supporting those that look like us first. Give them the opportunity to receive our dollars. And, we always hear about the dollar recycling in other communities and things of that nature. With our country and our world being more global, so the Black community is not like the Black community of old. You talk about Black Wall Street, where there was a space, literally, this is where we all at. If we're all here, it's easy for me to go to Pastor's barbershop because he's my community, literally. I don't have to pass this, like he's right up the block. So it's more or less, why would I go out of my town instead of putting money into my town? But now, like where I live, and Pastor as well, it's mixed. You got whites, you got Blacks, you got, different cultures. So supporting community or supporting Black people are two different things, in a sense where am I going to give into the tax revenue in my community, or I'm just going to support my Black people? Because for me, here, there are probably like maybe a couple of restaurants that are owned by Black people that I know directly. There may be more. I just probably haven't seen them. Outside, of course, because I'm in Georgia, Atlanta, it's easy. It's just, it's probably harder to find a white-owned business than it is hard to find a Black-owned business. But it's So it's that as well. So I always like, if you're trying to build up your community, is it just supporting those that are in the community so you can build up, the tax revenue, the infrastructure, and help businesses in your area grow? Or is it about supporting others, And this is kind of the conversation we're going to have all week, but I'm just kind of laying the substratum, as Pastor likes to say. Word I didn't know about till I heard it from him. Laying the foundation, if you need the definition, laying the foundation to what we're going to be tackling this week. So, Pastor, I want to ask you, so, of course, the overlying question in the discussion today is, should we have two national anthems? And I'm not, on a regular, because I guess the NFL is now doing both anthems or something in that nature.
Are. Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. Do you think that's too much or a necessary thing?
It's funny when you said it, I got to thinking about that song from Funkadelic.
Okay.
One nation under groove, getting down, right?
Right. Right.
The ultimate goal is that we are one nation.
Right. Right.
And if we're a one nation, how can we have two anthems?
Right.
So my immediate answer is, why would there be two?
Right.
It validates, it enforces, it encourages separation or division.
Right.
So I don't agree with two.
Right.
I think you have to go back and understand, like, to your point, the original national anthem was written at a time that was consistent with what America looked like.
Right. Right.
That's just what the case was.
Right.
And then they pulled some things out because it did not reflect what America was becoming.
Right. Exactly.
So there was an effort to be sensitive to the impact that America had on minorities with regards to slavery.
Right.
So they took words out, right?
Yes.
The creation of the Black national anthem, which I don't even like calling it the Black national anthem because it was created by folks who look like us, but that was in response to the laws changing and Jim Crow coming out in connection in relation to slavery.
Right.
So what it was a new message.
Right.
But the message wasn't lift Black voices; it was lift
every voice. Right.
So I struggle to call lift every voice and sing a Black national anthem, except that it was created to encourage people of color.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. But it was created to bring everyone together.
Right.
So I believe in a singular nation. Right. And if it's a singular nation, it's a singular voice. Yes. If it's a singular voice, it's a singular anthem that speaks to all people.
Right. Indeed. Yeah, I totally agree, because it's never been, it's lift every voice. It's about freedom, which we all, every race, the country has fought for, so I do 100% agree with one anthem. I do agree with one national anthem. And like you said, it unfortunately was called the Black national anthem because they already had an American anthem. And I think, but it's more or less an encouragement. So it just, I think maybe just we're at a time that, take some of the construct of the Black national anthem and create a new American national anthem. I think we're at the point that we just need something. And I believe, I totally believe we should be working together. Like that is the goal.
When a person writes a song, you talk to any artist, you talk to any musician, anybody who writes, they write based on what they're feeling. Right. You understand?
Yep.
And so when we talk about, my question is, if you listen to the national anthem, are you listening to it in its current state, or are you listening to it with the remnants of what it used to be?
Right.
Because if you listen to it right now, if you just play the song now, Does the song speak negatively about America and what America is or
Right.
should be?
Right.
That's
Right.
not the case. The reality is the words of the song ring true.
Yeah.
The problem is the country doesn't match the words to the song.
Right.
So why do we have to rewrite something? Why don't we just live up to it?
Right. So you're saying remove the black term out of the Black national anthem and just integrate it, no pun intended, into just the national anthem.
I'm not even talking about integration. I'm saying,
Maybe.
okay, tell me something.
Yeah.
What is the problem with the American national anthem today? What's the problem with the words? There's nothing wrong with the words.
No.
The problem is, in a lot of cases, the country does not reflect the words.
Okay. I got what you're saying.
You understand?
I hear you. Okay.
There's history with the song and the original writing of the song, which makes everybody hate the song because they're saying this is not who we really are. And because this is not who we really are, we're going to write a new song.
Right.
You understand?
Makes
and
sense.
So now we're debating about which one is right and all that. And I'm saying that's a fruitless debate. Right. What's important is that we live up to the creed that we're trying to represent to the globe. Right.
I get you. But it's the small things that seem to be where we divide. You understand what I'm saying?
The Bible says it's the small foxes that spoil the vine.
Right.
You're getting wrapped up in stuff that is not fruitful to the overall disposition of the country. That's all I'm saying. And I mean, I'm just trying to keep it real, man. I'm like, I wish I had a better argument.
right.
Push, but my thing is, I understand why there was a need. I understand why there is a need for Black voices to be heard, to be elevated, minority voices to be heard, to be elevated, because we do have a problem with racism in this country. We have an issue. There is an issue here, right? Yes. But what I'm saying is, what we have to do as a nation is live up to what we're supposed to represent.
All right, I got you. I'm 100%.
If we live up to what we're supposed to represent, no words have to change in a song.
I get you.
So why are we busy arguing over a song and not just trying to treat each other better?
I get it. I'm 100% with you. The problem is where we get distracted, where our focus is, which is why bringing this conversation up is something I want to get into, because people have that feeling, live up to on both sides, but this is a constant conversation. So how do we keep from being distracted? How do we stay focused, no pun intended, but keep our eyes on the prize, where we are trying to build a better America together? You know what I'm saying? I think, and we talked about this, like there are those that profit off of us being separate on both sides. Our division is profited by a lot of people. So it's kind of like the pharmaceutical coming up with a cure, changes people's pockets. So we're going to dig into that. I'm going to take a quick break. I got someone hanging in the wings, and we'll be right back right after this right here. This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. Ready to go live? Go to bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. That's bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. This episode is also brought to you by Self. Build credit now. Go to bit.ly/now build credit. bit.ly/now build credit. All right. Coley Cole in the building. Great morning to you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, AD. Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So let's see. That just says, live through on both sides. Stop making excuses. That's how we change. Yeah, but those excuses are coming from both sides. Like it's like everything, every issue that's like in our face, right? Whether it's injustice or COVID, right, becomes some kind of dividing line. Like everything is like a dividing issue. Go ahead.
Can I ask our host a question?
Yes, indeed.
Do you feel that you are pro-black? Do you feel that you are pro-American?
That's good.
Or do you feel that you are pro-Walker?
That's good. I feel my goal is to be pro-American. I feel like I stand on the pro-black because I'm, most of my audience, most people I speak to, my goal is to uplift and try to get us where we're not focused on being black, having a chip on our shoulder, those things that kind of hinder us, and leave us in a space where, because real quick, like, when something happens, like it's took me a while just to not let me think about, like if you're somewhere and you're standing online and the white clerk chooses the white person and right. He said pro Walker all day.
Yeah, let me here's
Yeah,
I want to, because I know where you're going. I believe I'm not gonna say I know where you're going. I believe I think where you're going. But here's the reason why I asked that question.
Yes.
There's a debate right now in the NFL when you look at the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, Jackson.
Oh, good Lord.
Most people are confused because they say, they used to say, well, he's a running back who's playing quarterback.
I hate that.
Right? And he believes he's a quarterback all day.
Right.
Now people are saying, because of his success, they're saying he is a quarterback that can run. He's not a running back playing quarterback. He's a quarterback that can run.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So now the jury is out, and he is now a quarterback.
Right.
Because of what he has shown on the field. When I ask you, are you pro-black, pro-American, or pro-Walker? I want to say this. You said, I believe I'm pro-American, but I'll challenge you. And I would say, nope, not in my book. In my book, you're pro-Walker.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because you're going to be home, take care of home first.
Yes.
Your greatest example is to your family.
Yes.
Indeed. To the Walkers. Your greatest energy, your greatest effort, the more seed, the biggest seed planting is going to be at your address.
Right. Yes.
Which makes you pro-Walker.
True.
Okay. You just happen to be a black man.
Yes, indeed.
And you happen to live in America.
Right.
But the best black man you can be is to be who you're supposed to be to your family, be an example. Right. The best American you can be is to be who you need to be at home as an example for your community and all that. You launched Brothers of Legacy because you wanted to start with community.
Right.
You wanted to start with what Fletcher was saying. You wanted to start taking excuses away. Let's have a real conversation here at home.
Yeah.
Let's deal with the things that impact us internally.
Right.
So that we can be better equipped to deal with what's happening to us externally from external forces.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So the problem, the challenge that we have is, in a lot of cases, you're pro-black at the demise of another race.
Yep.
And that looks like what we've been arguing against for over 400 years. Right. So I don't use the term pro-black.
Right.
You understand? I'm not a professional black man. I'm a black man. And there's no denying that. You know what I am. You know who I am. You understand? So what's the difference between pro-black and black? Pro-black means I'm leading with color.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is exactly what we've been fighting against.
Right.
Stop leading with color. Recognize me. We got the same kind of blood, this red blood running in our veins.
Right. Yes.
So the best thing that I can do is be true to my responsibility and my accountability at home, in my community, in my business, in whatever. And that makes me a better, more effective American.
Right. Ooh.
And black has been Carson.
Just had to go there, didn't you?
You darn right I had to go there.
Yeah, so Jason Fletcher put I'm pro-American, and that lines up with being pro-black and pro-Jason. But the thing is, it begins with pro-Jason because before you see anybody else, when you open your eyes in the morning, you see Jason.
Right. Yeah. Let's say Ephraim said, would you consider your interests divided to you seek to build home and community at the same time.
It can.
I think for me, I think it's like Pastor kind of broke down. You're right. I'm pro walker all day. Yeah. Professional. I'm professional walker. Yes. That interest is my first. And my community. I think rising to kind of what Jason said, Minister Fletcher, he says, the raising above excuses. Like but at the same time, like racism is there, but don't let it be the hindrance of what you do. Like just kind of recognizing, like, okay, boom, that door closed. It may be because of racism. Okay, so I realized going that way is going to be a challenge.
Don't let it be a crutch.
Right. Let's circumvent, go around, tell my people, listen, don't fool with them because they not, they're against those that look like us. Let's go a different way. Injustice happened. Why did it happen? Was it male? Was it black male? Why did this thing go down? Let's not sweep it under the table. At the same time, oh, he was running. He had a gun. Like if there's a reason, let's deal with that. He had a criminal past. The cops knew who he was. They shot him down because they knew how this dude got down. Or he was an innocent dude. He's just working. Oh, let's stop dividing stuff. Let's figure out the issues. Oh, those cops are corrupt. Nope, those cops are good. Like I think it's this dividing line that separates us. And I'm teaching my children and teaching my community, like, do your part, so that we can kind of mitigate issues. Then no one can say you were done wrong, you were done or unjust because of you. It was because of someone else, or more of the outside and not like I said, the internal. So for me, I think community, my thing is erasing the excuses for my community and holding the system accountable, for their actions in that essence. So yeah, it's not really divided, but it's more collective. Yeah. Everyone jump in on that. We said, Pastor, would you expound more on the definition of pro-black?
I wanted to lay out because of that question.
Right.
I don't know what else you need to hear. I mean, I love the skin that I'm in.
Right.
And the reality is I'm doing myself a disservice if I don't, because I can't change the color of my skin.
Sure
Right.
can't.
So I am who I am. I am born of who I am born of. So I love me. But you know what? I would hope that I will feel the same way no matter what the color of my skin was.
Right.
I just don't want to be ridiculed because I love my skin. But not that it matters, because no one can change my skin.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So your opinion has no value, or your position has no value if you're trying to challenge me on something that cannot change, that will never change. It reduces the value of your position.
Right.
Because now you look crazy.
Right. Right.
And to wish I was something different is equally crazy.
Yeah.
And for someone else to wish I was something different is equally crazy.
Crazy too.
Indeed.
So how about me just being comfortable with who I am,
right,
and being the best version of myself that I can be?
Right.
And when I see wrong, I check wrong.
Right.
Right. And so what I'm saying is I got to control the things that I can control, which is why I work on my house, which is why I work on my community. If someone is not in agreement with my stance on something, we can agree to disagree. But if you want to live a life of being disagreeable, then I got to separate myself from you, and I'll go find my business, put my business somewhere else.
Right.
I taught this weekend. Amen. Oh, there you go. Amen, sir.
Awesome.
That's good stuff. Right. So all I'm saying is we have issues. We have to address the issues as our communities are, as we deal with division in our communities. But all I'm saying is it begins with me. And so to Ephraim's question, I don't understand. Like when I hear the term pro-black, I cannot, for the life of me, find a reason to lead with that.
Right.
because leading with that means I'm leading with color. And one of the greatest travesties in America is the first person who decided to lead with color.
Right.
One of the greatest travesties in the scripture didn't have to do with the color of people's skin. It had to do with belief. It had to do with, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
It was religion.
Definitely.
Right. But you come from another part of the track. Remember, if you go back far enough, we all come from the same source.
Right.
That's right.
Indeed.
So what was the difference?
Right.
Right.
Right. So if I'm leading with pro-black, I am essentially part of the problem.
I feel you.
And I am as much a part of the problem as pro-white supremacists.
Right. Right.
White supremacists.
I think about that as well.
The
Go ahead, Cole.
issue is I don't have as much leverage. I don't have as much power.
Right. Right.
Because I'm not, the system is designed a certain way.
Right.
So the best thing that I can do is what you've been talking about on here for the last year or so, 2 years. Have an impact on who's sitting in office. If you don't like it, vote.
Right.
Right. Bring in resources to empower areas that are not empowered.
Right.
To economically invest in areas that are underserved.
Right.
Right.
Yes, indeed. Go ahead, Cole. You want to share something?
Yeah. I think you might not like me after what I'm going to say, but
awesome.
To answer your question, what's the goal? Together or separate but equal?
Yes.
We live in a country where it is still separate but equal, but it is covertly so.
Okay.
And what I mean by covertly so, we live in a country where, and Pastor said something beautiful about how it shouldn't be about race. Unfortunately, we live in a country where it is nothing but. You go on applications, you have to check of what race you are.
Gotcha.
You even go into church, you have to check what race you are. You go into getting your driver's license, you have to check what race you are. Your skin color plays so pivotal of a role in this society that it is inescapable.
Yeah.
But I get the overall and overarching understanding of what we're supposed to be about. We're supposed to be about ourselves.
Right.
We're supposed to be about ourselves in terms of ourselves as humans, not ourselves as Black people.
Right.
So I understand that. Unfortunately, we have been conditioned with being hit, slapped, and smacked over in the face time and time and time again about being Black or being a Negro or being Negro. All our lives it has been that. Right. So
I got you.
I came up under a household where it was interesting. My father was pro-Black. I mean, he was militantly so. I mean, militantly so, where he actually said to me when I was a child, I do not like white people. He actually said that to me, to my face, 5, 6, 7 years of age.
Right.
Conversely, my mother was like, I love everybody.
Right.
So, as a child in grammar school, I had to come to terms with this. And of course, I came up just after the civil rights movement. So I'm dealing with all of this stuff. And then of course you're hearing in our art, on TV, in our music that you're supposed to be pro-Black. You're supposed to look pro-Black. You're supposed to be Black and proud and all of that.
Right. That's good.
So we're imbued with this in terms of race.
Right.
But I challenge people in that in the understanding of when I say that I'm pro-Black, it's not about race for me.
Right.
It's about culture.
Right.
I love us as a culture.
Okay.
Because to me, Black is not monolithic.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Black is so many different. Black is basically like Neapolitan ice cream. It could be the lightest a shade, the darkest a shade. It could be the people who live in the ghetto. It could be the people who live on Park Avenue.
Right.
It could be those who are atheists. It could be those like Pastor. I mean, we're so vastly different.
Right.
and
Indeed.
I embrace that diaspora.
Right.
So when I hear pro-black, that's what I think. Unfortunately, though, when others hear pro-black, they think skin color only. But
Right.
it's funny because it's just like the Temptation song with many people. Beauty is only skin deep with them.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and if you don't believe me, just think back to the Black Lives Matter thing.
Right.
So you have people who say Black Lives Matter, you have those who counter it by saying all
A
lives
lot
matter.
better. Right. 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 Right.
And if it's a police thing, they'll say blue lives matter.
Right. Right.
You know, so it's a constant tug of war with being right with yourself, being right
Right.
with who you are,
True.
being at home with who you are.
Right.
That
Right.
it can be a tiring existence.
Right. Yes,
So when
indeed.
so when I see stuff that you sent me, AD, and
Yeah.
I heard it before you sent it to
Right.
me,
Okay. Okay.
of
Right.
Bill Maher talking
Uh-huh.
about there shouldn't be there shouldn't be a black national anthem and a regular national anthem because
Right.
it's segregation going backwards.
Right.
Sir, I will challenge you. This country has been segregated ever since it was considered settled 400 years ago.
Right.
And it's still segregated today. It just isn't legally so,
Right.
but it is
Right.
segregated.
Right.
And in
Listen,
understanding that, you have to be compassionate with those who feel as though they don't own the piece of pie that they feel as though they see others who do own it.
Okay.
But I'm talking to Bill Maher, a guy who feels like it is okay to smoke weed with kid in play, and claim I'm good with black people.
I got
He's the
you.
type that
Yeah,
he's
Bill
the
Maher
type
is-
that he's the type that dates nothing but black models, and he's okay with black people.
Right.
And excuse me for the following: he can go on network TV, he can go on cable
What's up,
TV and say a racial slur
Right.
and be okay with black people.
Right. 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 Yeah.
I-
he's a rough character. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to make that disclaimer. Like I don't
Yes.
really rock with him.
I don't
Go
either.
ahead.
I take everything he says with a grain of salt because
Indeed.
I look at the overall agenda for him.
Yeah.
So,
Indeed.
you know, to me, he is a great case study for me in how I view America
Mm.
because
Okay.
he looks like an ally, but when he talks, you
Right.
know he's not. And
Yeah.
we as
Yeah.
black people have
Yeah.
seen those types of white people and others,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
who
Unfortunately.
who are that way among us, who bring us that energy. So
Yeah.
we push back with the no, I'm proud to be who I am. I'm
Right.
black, and you have to deal with that. Now the issue though is that we as black people try to use this as a weapon.
Right. Yes, indeed. Let's
And-
get into that. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
And when white people return fire, literally and figuratively,
Right,
and
right,
use this as a weapon,
Right.
it isn't so
right.
pleasant.
Yeah.
That's where we are today.
Yeah, and like I get how we probably got to a space of leading black. You know, if there is such a, you know, if being black was pushed down so much, it's like I have nothing else to lean on but being black, and you know, coming together and creating the black space, the black magazine, the black award. You know, like because
Mhm.
you feel like am I lacking in talent or I'm being snubbed because
Right.
I'm black? You know,
Mhm.
it's teetering on that, you know, like I don't know. I spoke about growing up and I grew up all black high school, black college, you know. My dad, I mean, he always and forgive me if any offense, but he's always used the honky word, you know, that from the Jeffersons, if you ever watched that show. But and that's like a slur towards white people if you didn't know, just a little education. But I don't know if he disliked, because in the end, before he passed, there was a guy and lived on the same block or lived like adjacent. His name was Mr. Murphy, and he was white from Georgia, white, and they were like best friends, you know. Like so, it's I don't think he had a trust for white people. He grew up in Tennessee, you know, in a time when, you know, like I always think about what D.L. Hughley said. He said only black people that are allowed to be racist are those that grew up in the 40s and 50s from, you know, and before that lived down south, you know, because of the environment. It's like, how can I? How can you really, like, it's hard. And I get it. Like for me now, like, no, because I'm not I've never had to run into that,
Right.
per se. Like I said, it's always been that it's because, or it's just because,
Mhm.
like it's
Yeah.
an actual mistake, or it's because, did they, like what's that movie I was watching? Respect with Aretha Franklin. The guy was like,
Mhm.
I'm not racist. I don't hate you because you're black. I hate you because you're stupid. He used other words that I won't say on there, but he was
Of
like,
course.
it has nothing to do with you being black. It's because of your
Because
character.
because
Your
you're stupid.
character, right?
Mhm.
Your character is the problem. So it's like I said, growing up black and then going to a black college. My first full interaction was going into the working world, and I think what did I work at Chase Bank, and then I worked at Kmart, and let me bring pass it back on. But having those experiences, it's like I had the chip. Like, he
Mhm.
better not ever say he better not. And it took me a while to like, oh, white people are fine. But like I said, growing up in the black world, hearing the hip hop lyrics and you gotta watch the white people, and the devil, like growing up in that constant language and not ever really having a real interaction with a lot of white people. Like there's twins, two white people that lived in my town, like literally, counting them. They went to the high school,
Mm.
they got the pass because they could play ball. So but they were cool, but they were like the only white interaction I had. Oh, but yeah, outside of that, it's just having that chip and not being angry, not like you said, leading with it,
Mhm.
So it was a lot of times like, okay, is it a mistake or is it because I'm black? Is it, how are they not, if I'm at a restaurant, are they ignoring me because they suck? The waitress staff sucks, like, or is it because I'm black? It's and trying not to think about it. And, like now, like trying to teach your kids, to just see the world and not focus on it. Like, do you not tell them about it? So it's, because you don't want them to have that same chip on their shoulder, like have that excuse or have that reason. At the same time, you want to educate and be aware, because you don't want your children to be ignorant to it, but not to lean on it,
On it.
So
Well
I think,
said, AD. Well said.
Yeah, but I think to your
Well said.
point, I think it's here's what's interesting. Who in our minds is on record as the greatest NBA basketball player to ever play the game?
oh,
Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. So everybody says
Right.
Michael Jordan.
Mhm.
Some people may disagree, think it's someone
Right.
else.
Right.
But it ain't. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I knew
But
you were
he
gonna say
lived his entire career with a
Yes.
chip on his shoulder,
Yeah, he did.
that.
right? And now that he's retired, what do the people who work closest with him say about him? Like, how many friends does he have?
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you're
Right?
right.
Right.
Hmm.
That's what a chip does. You may accomplish your goal, but it'll be at the cost
Right.
Of something. Yeah.
of relationships,
Mhm.
Right.
right? And so, like, I grew up, I went to Catholic school as a young person
Right.
before I got to junior high.
Right.
And I was the only black boy in my class.
Right.
The only black boy in my class.
Right.
I didn't know it.
Right.
Right. I mean, like, I went to a school that was across town from us. I didn't go to a school with the children that I played sports with.
Right.
I went to school with children who lived in other areas.
Right.
I had to take a taxi to school. Right. There was no bus coming to get us.
Right.
Right. To this day, I don't know how my mother paid that tuition, but that's another story.
Mhm.
Right. You're mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Right. Good.
I've wanted to ask that question for the longest, but I've refrained.
but here's the thing, when I went to the military, my first duty station was Korea.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out,
That's a
wow,
culture shock.
like I got my first taste of the world hates black people,
That's a culture shock. Yeah.
right? Because I went all the way to Korea and had to deal with racism from Koreans.
Yeah. I've
Right?
heard that. You're not the first person I've heard that
Yeah,
about.
I'm out and I see my white peers being preferred over me when we out and about down in the village.
Right.
And it was like, wow, That's interesting, right? I remember coming back to my barracks one time, and someone had disheveled my room,
Right.
and took a bar of soap and wrote the N-word on my mirror in my closet.
Wow.
Right? Like that. I mean, I had to file a report. Like that
Right.
happened.
Right.
And I'm,
Right.
I turned 18 in Korea, and I'm like, I had never experienced anything like that before.
Right.
You know, I think I heard the N-word from this little white kid who lived across the street like once
Right.
growing up, but other than that, I was ignorant to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I had these little experiences. And so you take that and you start thinking about, she said, oh, my mother's, I paid money to the church to get my children in Catholic school.
He said, I paid money to the
Thank you
for
so
your
much, Mama
business,
McCrory.
just so you know.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Mama
okay,
McCrory.
Lori Laughlin.
Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry.
But what, I guess what I'm saying is, I learned that, and my mother was like, I used to think my mother was part of the Panther Party.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
Because that's how she carried herself back then.
Right.
Oh, you thought
She
you
was
lived with
not
Angela
the
Davis?
dainty sundress. She was the jeans, the fatigue jacket, and the pick.
Right.
Right. With the fit. I'm probably being extreme, but I'm just saying that was kind of her mindset.
I get it.
No, yeah,
But what I realized later is it wasn't about her being Black. It was about her being a Black woman, and not just her being a Black woman, but her being a Black woman who was a single parent.
Right.
Not just being a Black woman as a single parent, but being a Black woman as a single parent with 4 Black boys.
Right.
Mhm.
So she lived my entire childhood having to defend.
Right.
So she couldn't look dainty. She had to look hard.
Right. Right.
Right. So that's what that was. But we didn't understand it then. I understand it now. Right. Why she came up to the school and she never wore a dress. Because she had to come into the school and deal with white men about her boys.
Right.
So she had to come into the school and leave them with the impression, I better be careful how I deal with these boys because I don't know who's coming behind her.
Right. Yeah.
But you don't know that when you 12.
Right. Indeed.
No, of course not.
No,
Right.
you just like, Mom, why would you come up here like that? That's all you're thinking.
Right.
So I'm saying these are just the little experiences, but I reflect back on those things and I'm saying, to come from that and to lead with color turns you into something else.
Right.
I understand what you're saying, Cole. I understand what you're saying, AD. I understand what Ephraim is saying. Like, we had to learn to love ourselves because everyone else was hating us.
Right.
Hard.
We had to appreciate ourselves because no one else was appreciating us. That part I completely understand.
Right.
I completely understand it.
Right. So
What I'm saying is, if we really want to get better, we can't allow that to turn into I hate you because you hate me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like what never thought I'd say talk about Brand Nubian, but I'll bring it up.
Okay.
It's like what Grandpapa Brand Nubian used to say. The solution, knowledge itself to better myself, because I know myself, we can live much better than this.
Wow.
Right.
And I think that was so key, hearing that. Because I mean, I'm never going to be a 5%er, but but the fact that he actually broke it down in understanding of, if you're going to improve conditions elsewhere, you got to improve conditions with yourself first.
Right.
And if you're not going to invest in conditions of yourself, then what use are you to the world?
Right.
And to Pastor's point, that's when we see a lot of people who lead with color,
right,
and they wonder why they don't get anywhere, because they have the proverbial chip on shoulder,
right.
because they don't fully know what Black really is,
right,
because they just think it's surface level stuff.
Yes,
right.
Yes, sir.
And that's where people get in trouble.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Ephraim was saying, just for my podcast people, America wouldn't appreciate and recognize us, so we took our towns to South Beach and created the BET Awards and other such things. And that's true. Like, Jet, Ebony, a lot of things had to break off because of what we felt was lack of representation of
Yeah.
our beauty, our greatness, our good stuff, that. And I think it just felt it was helpful for our esteem to feel like we can celebrate ourselves. And some of the reasons, of course, we weren't celebrated because of our color and things of that nature. He said, "I'm not a fighter. I'm a peacemaker. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover."
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Right.
Thank you, Michael. Michael.
Right. But yeah, I think just erasing those lines, or trying to, I guess, not lean on race, and like you said, lead with race, has been some of the struggle with some, like I said, it took me a while to get out of that mindset, because when you're in it, you're constantly hearing it and hearing about injustice, and if you're living in a Black neighborhood, you're good because you're in this isolated bubble where all you're seeing is what's being shown in your face. And so you're kind of building up this chip, you're building up this mindset before you're actually having the experience. So it's like now it's wading through it, and not and leaning back on Jason, not using an excuse, but being aware of it, so and knowing who you're around and knowing what you're dealing with. So we're coming to a close, getting last words from my brother, because the rest of the week I got, can we change the Black leader mentality? And also, do we need an agenda that unites us but doesn't beg for those to join us? So we want to dig into that, because sometimes, you feel like are we begging or we just like, this is the agenda, we can live peaceably together. And I got some more stuff. So this is going to be a great week. Make sure you share, join our community, text LWN to 84576, never miss a broadcast. Stay apart. We're having these conversations to move our community forward, and not get stuck in the space of struggle. Appreciate that, Cole. But yeah, so this week is going to be great. I got some other folks coming on because I want different perspectives, different ideas. I might talk to Mr. Fletcher and get him on, because I know some of his stance. We butt head at some points, but we do agree to disagree on certain things. And I really want his voice in this conversation, because I want everyone, because we need to get to a space where, okay, I see where you're at. I understand. Let's go forward from here. Because like I said, it's constantly something to divide us. You ever look at stuff like, why is this an argument? You see it. Let's just address what it is and move forward. Let's address the issue and move forward. Because some people just dig in and they're like, no, why are we divided here? Like, you see what it is. It's no more than just, that's wrong, that's right, let's go. So I think we definitely need to tackle that. We got the head shake.
No, because you just said something that has been completely validated by our most recent former president.
Okay.
Who gave a resounding endorsement to the current governor of the state of Georgia a couple of years ago, right? But when the election happened, the governor of the state of Georgia did not want to appease the former president by decertifying or challenging the vote outcome in the state of Georgia. He basically said, listen, I'm with you, but right is right, wrong is wrong. 2 plus 2 is 4, and you ended up with, with 1. Right. I mean, it's so apparent. He's like, so he basically said, I don't want to look. I may have cheated before. I'm kidding. He said, but in this, I'm going to say,
can't help
right
you
and
cheat
wrong
here.
is wrong. Right. But now the former president literally, and I quote, said to people this weekend, you're probably better off with Stacey Abrams at this point.
Right.
That is the definition of a chip and not having your way. Right. He went from a resounding endorsement of this man to, because he did not support him when he wanted to challenge the outcome of the election. Right.
The dude is still lobbying recount protests in Arizona, and we are in almost October. 8
No,
months
no,
later,
that has been resolved at this
no,
point.
no. It's been resolved, but he's still contesting that.
Yeah. Oh, he is. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Even
yeah,
after a Republican-led audit of that
Right.
vote
Right.
came out consistent with what the okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, let's not go down a rabbit hole. But
Sorry.
yeah, definitely yeah, like I said, right is right, wrong is wrong. Like even when he got off, he's like, how did that happen? I can't believe it. But you accept it because guess what? It's part of the system. It's part of what goes down. This is the game we play. It's votes casted. There's electoral vote. It's what we do. And we just follow the rules. And that's the part though that I'm with it. Like I get it. This is the rules. This is how the game is played. Play within the rules. You lose, it sucks. What can we do to make the game better? If it slants, many times I am called Uncle Tom because I don't agree with people look like me all the time.
I've been there. I got that button. You ain't getting no sympathy here, bro.
Right? Okay, Cole. Appreciate you being here, Cole.
Yeah, Cole.
But yeah, listen, listen, I've been called a Republican in my own space, so don't worry. don't worry. Listen, we're gonna have a great conversation. Listen, because
but here's the thing though.
Yeah.
Here's what you must understand. Like, why is being a Republican negative?
Right.
This is where I get in trouble. Right. The problem is some of the people who vote Republican and their personality, their mindset, their disposition.
Right. Yes.
Right. So anyway, I see Jason Fletcher came in talking about look, I get in trouble too, bro. Look at Ephraim.
But and this, I guess this is gonna be the week we're gonna just go there. Like we're gonna go down those rocky spaces and let's have that real conversation. Because let's have the full conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we get stuck. We get stuck in spaces and we don't at least get to a resolve. We don't get to a space where, oh, I get it. I don't totally agree. Because I even take times, I care how much I care how much, can't say it. But yeah, like let's at that dividing line. And I think if we can just weave our way through some of the semantics of it, we'll get to the same space. It just we get distracted, and keeping it real, big conspiracy. I feel like it just is a design to keep us distracted. Because if we started really coming together, like I'm talking about all of us, all of us agree with, hey, there needs to be some term limits. Hey, we need to look at the finances of the Senate and the House. Like, what's going on with this money? Their ability to invest in stocks that they're pushing laws for. Like, let's put the spotlight on that. Let's come together and talk about what they doing. But no. Let's talk about abortion again.
There's a reason why a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people in positions of power never want to lose their position, because at some point somebody's going to come in and see your work, your real work. Yep. Somebody's going to see those files.
Yep.
Right. Yep. I work in IT. I'm an engineer. I'm an architect. I design solutions.
Right.
There's nothing worse than picking up a client,
right,
where another engineer designed the solution, but didn't dot their I's, didn't cross their T's, and now they got all kind of IT problems.
Right.
They got the deal sold, but they did not do it right. It wasn't architected right, but somebody made money off of it. Right. And you got to come in, you got to come behind them and clean it up. Right. Right. And it leaves a bad taste in the mouth with the client, with your organization. Right. You are the messenger that has to fix it. And it's always going to cost the client more to fix it, because you got to add things that were not included.
Yep.
Right. And so it's a lot of cases. It's like that with politics as well. I don't want anybody coming behind me because they'll find out what I was really doing.
Right. And and I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna close. I feel like if there are states and cities that are struggling, either economically or criminally, like the crime and all that, I believe they just need to sweep and switch sides. They need to change some things up. That's all I'm saying. They just need to change. You know, they've been putting the same folk in the same space. Need to change it up. I'm like, yeah. I don't know if I'm ready for that conversation because New York, they did it in the city. I don't like the dude now, but he came in and he changed everything around, and he honestly helped the city a lot. That's one point he will get because he changed some things. He got rid of the politics as usual because he was on the different side. Yeah, and sometimes you know some people, what they say, sometimes you come in with a hammer, sometimes you need a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm laughing at Richard Fay who said, "But like cats."
Oh, you're like cats. Right. So, but yeah. So yeah, I think yeah. Struggling. It's been decades. Yeah, you're going the same direction. All right. So we're gonna go and get out of here. We appreciate you guys rocking with us and hanging with us. And we're going to continue this conversation tomorrow. Make sure you join our community. Text LW into 84576. Text LW into 84576. Never miss an episode or broadcast. And then you'll find out everything that the Brothers of Legacy is doing on a local level. All right. And I want you guys to be a part of that as well. As that is it. That is all. We appreciate you guys for rocking. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Same time, same channel, same place. As always. And I say it again in the outro. Be safe. Continue to wear the mask. Yep, wear the mask. And we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Know that we love you. God loves you more. Oh no, I got. Well, this is the wife's. But good to stay safe. Know that we love you, but God loves you more. We will see you in the AM. Peace out. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for rocking, hanging, being make sure sharing is caring. All of my replay peoples that watch in the background that I know see this show, I appreciate you as well.